Music seems to have been in your DNA. Your family were all entertainers, all vaudevillians.
I was born after a matinee, and we were on tour. That's why I was born in London. Because we were so working class and poor, my father said to her, right after I was born, "Do you think you'll be able to do the night show?" And my mother reportedly threw an iron at him.
In '52, you had this wonderful hit, Twisted. Can you tell me about how that came to be?
I met Bob Weinstock, who had Prestige, and he said, "Can you write lyrics?" I said, "Sure." I mean, if he'd have said, "Can you fly?" I would have said yes. He said, "Well, here's a pile of records. Write some words to a song and call me." So I called him the next morning. I said, "I've got words to Twisted." I went, I sang for him, and he arranged a record date. I was one of the first women, I think, who ever wrote lyrics. I was visiting a friend of mine, and he said, "Do you know Dave Lambert? He's with a guy called John Hendricks. They have an idea to record bassy things with words. Why don't you stick around? They're coming over and you'll meet them." I said, "Okay." They sang a bassy thing, and it was intriguing. About 2 days later, I got a phone call, and it was Dave Lambert, and he said, "Annie, we've hired session singers, and they're incredible. They hit every note, but they don't swing." And Dave said, "I have an idea. We'll multi-track." When the voices were added, and it was layer upon layer, and that was one of the great moments of my life, was standing in front of those loudspeakers and hearing the assembly of every day. You know, it was like a fantastic gift.
Well, what advice would you have for young singers coming into the music now?
Listen, listen, listen. To all musicians, that's what I tell my band. Listen to each other, that's the most important thing. And listen to music. It cures all ills. Music is forever.